Hi everyone, Michael from Teams by Design. We've just recently launched our after-hour phone service. What that means for you is we can now answer your phone calls from 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and all day Saturday and Sunday. We can help you with inquiries such as property inquiry, leasing inquiry, maintenance support, and new business inquiries. So please make sure you head to teamsbydesign.com, leave your information, we'll arrange a Zoom and catch up and show you how we can help you through this.
Hi everyone, it is Darren Hunter here and I am with Dennis Youssef. We are Inspired Growth Training with our PM Growth Experts show. Oh my goodness, Dennis. This is, of course, on the video, audio podcast. It is over, I don't know how many countries now. I'm losing count. We've got Australia, we've got New Zealand, we've got America, USA, we've got Canada, we've got UK, and also we've got people listening from South Africa. Well. Just about every place that does serious property management.
Yep, and we've also got Tasmania as well.
Can't forget Tasmania. Sorry, mate. Thank you for mentioning. We forgot, but got just a big welcome again to Joe Iema. Welcome, Joe. Thank you so much for your time again. We had an awesome show with you some time back for our PM Growth Experts show, and more recently on the PM Power podcast. That's our property manager, nuts and bolts, ground trooper, specialist podcast where we talked about dealing with angry and abusive people. So,
Joe, you've been on 3 podcasts. You're our first person that's been on 3 podcasts.
Privileged.
Well done. There you go, mate. That speaks volumes. And can I just say, Joe, I met you two at the very same event, LPMA 2010, I think it was.
How lucky were we, Darren?
It was a round table meeting.
No. It was in Sydney. It was the full conference. Joe was on a panel. He won an award, and I went, "Oh, this guy's winning awards." You know, and I spoke to him at lunchtime, and I think I spoke to you at the same lunchtime, and I was bantering with both of you, trying to get info from you both.
Yeah. No, I do remember you coming up.
But, he kept telling me that the dragons rock, but I'm a Seagers, so it's like.
So just so everyone knows, Joe is a department head and business partner director with Doyle Spillane Real Estate, which is on the Northern Beaches in a suburb called DY. It is a suburb named DY in the Northern Beaches in Sydney. What can I say, Joe? We could spend all day talking about how good you do property management, but you've got, over 1,000 doors or 1,000 properties, but you are one of the most expensive agents that we have seen in Sydney. You maintain your management fees so well, surrounded by discounting competitors. You are absolute proof and evidence how if you compete on service and value, you don't have to worry about competing on fees. But that's another story. Today, Joe, just want to thank you for coming on board. You've agreed and accepted to take up our Grow 100 challenge. And before we release the beast and have some fun around the Grow 100 challenge, just giving everybody a bit of an idea where we got this from. You see, a number of years ago, I was watching a show a bit like Bear Grylls. You remember Bear Grylls? He's a British commando SAS specialist survivalist. And a bit like, I guess, the American version, Dwayne Johnson, of course, just that real buff survivor. But Bear Grylls gets thrown into a jungle or a desert or whatever, and he's got no food. He's given no water. I think he's allowed a knife. But that's it, and he has to get out of that dangerous situation just using the knowledge that he has. And so, Joe, you look very much more like a Dwayne Johnson than what you do a Bear Grylls. You're very buff. But
those glasses, man.
Let's just lay this scene here, right? Because this is really exciting. All right, let's just lay this scene here. Joe, let's just pretend for a moment you are no longer at Doyle Spillane and you've decided to go out on your own. You're going to start off from scratch, and you've got minimal to no budget. So most people that start off on their own, the budget's really tight or they've got nothing. So with only using what you now know, all right, with the knowledge that you have now after, I'd say, 30 years in real estate, in property management, what 3 strategies would you use to get 100 doors? You've got to get 100 doors or properties within 12 months, where do you go? What would you do?
Yeah, well, I think the first one, and look, there's not going to be any groundbreaking information coming from me today, but your first one is always going to be to align yourself with strategic partners. So, and look, it's, and I say we were dropped in a town and I knew no one, so the first thing I'll do is look at the marketplace and highlight, who the prominent solicitors were or conveyancers, who was the prominent finance guys in the town or in the area. I'd look at potentially plumbers. I'd look at electricians. I'd look at anyone that we would come in contact in running a property management business. And that's all good and well because we get it all the time. A lot of people contact us and say, hey, I'm plumbing in the area, I need some work, or I want to offer you rates, or I want to offer you discounts, or whatever it may be. So I don't believe that would be the way to go about it. I would source these people out and I'd try and see them and meet with them. And the dialogue that you use when you would do this has to be quite specific. So it would go somewhere along the lines of, look, I'm new in town. I've got a property management business that I'm starting. I've done some research, done some homework, and I've found your company is the standout conveyancer in the area. And I believe that, our values and the way you guys do business are congruent. Can I meet with you and tell you a little bit about what I do? I'd love to hear about what you guys do because I'm going to be referring people to you and I'd like you to know a little bit about me. So, you don't have to ask for something. You don't ask, oh, look, I'm a property management. Will you refer me people? They probably get that 20 times a day.
Yeah,
I'll just meet with them and just say, look, I'm going to be referring people to you. I want to know what you're about and what your business is about because I want to know that we're congruent so that, and I have a certain standard and I want to know that my clients are going to get that standard. Okay. So that is really important because the people that usually get letters from 100 people or see 100 people, and they think, oh, okay, they're just asking for business. I wouldn't be asking for business. That's my dog Poppy. I would be, just telling them that you're going to be referring business to them regardless. And then and once you have that meeting, say, yeah, well, if you're happy with what I do, then I'd love you to refer your clients to me as well. So again, it's just the way you approach that. I think if people do it, Dennis talks about this, Darren, you guys talk about this all the time, and it's easier to do. I don't think a lot of people do it properly, and that's the issue.
Joe, you brought up an amazing tip to start with. I think it's great. Your strategic alliances. They're hungry to grow. Every business owner is hungry to grow. And if they're not, you don't really want to associate yourself with them,
Yeah.
For a startup. I'm just talking about for a startup. You want to find those businesses that are new. You want to find that if you align yourself with a conveyancer that's just starting, you're both going to be in the synergies of wanting to grow. So again, you can do works together, whether it's interviewing each other for social media, running an information night together, having a booth at a career day at school or whatever the case. You can do things together because, like you said, Joe, you're looking about finding people that are all involved in that process around real estate. And there's so many people that are speaking to those landlords or potential landlords before a salesperson.
Yeah.
There's a whole funnel. Every single accountant.
And they need to know what your ethos is as well. You don't want to align yourself with the wrong person because that can be damaging for your business as well. You want to align yourself with, and you need to do your homework. Sit down and have a look. Who are these people? What do they represent? What does their brand speak to their what are their clients going to be like? You don't want to attract clients. I'm not going to get on the fees, but you don't want to attract clients that are looking for cheap and nasty. You want to attract clients you want to make sure that you align yourself with a business that has a demographic of people that you want to be dealing with. And that's really important as well. And sometimes they're not easy to get at, those people, but if you introduce themselves, and then we'll lead on to the other tips that I've got, and they start seeing you around town, you'll find that those people will be drawn to someone that I think is ethical, and they know that they can refer someone comfortably. You know, I can tell you from our own experience, and this is just, you know, really paying off for us now, but, you know, we started a commercial division about 18 months ago. And the reason I did that is because I used to refer a lot of my commercial, you know, I didn't really want to do it. And, you know, I'd say to people, oh, just go and see this guy, he'll look after you. But then when I went back and spoke to him, they go, oh, no, he didn't look after us. We're not happy with him. You know, he didn't communicate with us, you know. And I thought, you know what, you know, like, I can do it better than these guys, you know, even not knowing anything about commercial, industrial, I can do it better just by providing service to my clients, and whatever I need to learn, I'll learn. But we ended up, we're getting, you know, we ended up getting 10, 15, and I thought, you know, we'll put someone on that specializes in that. And she did the same thing. She went out and, you know, had a meeting with one of the local attorneys in the area, you know, and they've just referred a client who, you know, and he's actually brought over residential, and he's got commercial, and they referred his client because his client was having the same thing. He had all his portfolio with about 3 or 4 agents, and none of them were standouts. None of them were providing a service. And, you know, this lady gave him a little bit of service, was referred by his attorney. Before you know it, we've got like 80 properties or something, you know, like that's awesome. And that speaks volumes, but, and he's a good client. His expectations are not over, you know, he's not someone that expects massive touch points every day. He just wants service, and he just know that someone is looking out for him. So, you know, that's massive. I mean, you know, I can't speak enough about putting yourself in a position with someone like that.
Yeah, Joe, that's really good. And right at the beginning, you actually said you would actually meet them, right? Because you want to connect with them, and you want to make sure that you've got the same values as well.
Synergy's got to be right, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. You know, and, you know, us here at Inspired Growth Training, we're turned down sponsorships. We are very careful who we align our business with, and real estate's the same way. You don't want to employ a gardener that doesn't look after your landlord's investment. It's not about, you know, just the tenant that's moving in, but it's a whole combination.
People are going to upset people, things like that. Yeah, that just creates work for us. So yeah, you want to be confident when you're referring someone. I always say to people, I never refer. You know, I get calls every day. Oh, who's your removalist? Who's this? Who's that? I will only refer people that I've actually used myself and I've had an experience with. If I don't know the person, I will never refer him. So that's just me personally, but that's what I do in our business as well. We don't use people that we don't know. Yeah.
Okay, I want to add a script as well, because your way of doing it's great. Very good script of how you're calling people up and wanting to connect with them. Now, this is one that Michael uses. It's great, and we've been teaching on this for quite some time. You know, you're a startup business. You need to pick up, like Joe said, tip number 1, call those strategic alliances. So, you know, your wording in giving these people a call, if I'm giving an accountant a call, I might ring. Hi, Joe, it's Dennis here from IGT Realty. I'm a startup property management business in the area. I'm an expert. I've been advised to give you a call. I've done some research around. I'm looking for an accountant that specializes in helping investors with their investment properties. Just would like to hear a little bit about what you do, what you've got to offer, and is this an area that you cover? Now, all of a sudden, they're going to start selling themselves to me, right? But they've heard, so you're not actually asking for a referral. Great, that's fantastic. I'd love to come and meet you. I'm going to be dealing with hundreds of new potential clients over the next couple of years from time to time. I may even be running an information night, which is what you do for your strategic alliances as well, right? Which you've done, Joe. You've run those nights. So it's getting them to sell themselves to you. You're not, like you said, Joe, ringing them up and saying, hey, refer business to me. So it's how you learn to align. So great tip that you've given there. So Joe, okay, you've obviously picked up 80 properties just like that. Like you said that you've done this strategy, right? And you've picked up a lot of business from just doing the strategic alliance with one person. What's your second tip, buddy?
Second tip, well, I think you guys are very schooled in this area, but yeah, you need some sort of social media campaign. So, but again, like I see stuff all the time on social media, and I'm yet to see someone that stands out. Everyone says, "Oh, we leased this property in 7 days. What a great thing!" And we got the highest price. And sales agents are my favorite. Block record, and that's all they bang on about. So again, I'm new in the area. All I'm going to be putting on social media is things that are going to help people. Okay, so how to screen a tenant, how to do a lease, how to do an inspection, what to look for in an application. Like, it's just information. So at no stage do we need to say, "Oh, we're the best, we lease 20 properties," whatever it may be. All I would be putting out there is information that can help investors. I'd be, speaking to Darren about the demographic of people that you target. So anyone that's looking at buying, selling real estate, or has clicked on a real estate, website, that, your ad gets in front of them, or your sponsored ad gets in front of them. But again, it's just information, just, what to do. Your tenant's not paying the rent, and tips for tenants as well, how to get your bond back. And so again, when they think of that, your brand, they'll be thinking, "Oh, that's that guy that has all that information. It's not that guy that sold that house for, over reserve or whatever it may be. It's the guy that becomes the expert in the area." So again, nothing groundbreaking there. You guys bang on about it all the time. But I'm amazed at how many people get it wrong. And look, it's okay to showcase your properties and your listings, and then people go, "Yeah, oh wow, these guys get a lot of properties." And we do heaps of videos, and people just, I know that we get business just from that social media and the videos that we post, because we get business from people that have never dealt with me in 30 years and then suddenly are dealing with me. And I know it's because they're Facebook friends that, that they're reaching out. So, but again, you're becoming the expert in the area for property management, for sales. Whatever we do in PM, you can be doing with sales. Whatever they're doing in sales, you can be doing in PM. It's no different. Commercial, whatever it may be. But I still think that a lot of agents get it wrong, because all they're doing is just giving themselves pats on the back about what they sold and how they sold it and things like that. So again, just be someone that provides information without no expectation, and that is powerful. Just not expecting anything in return and giving eventually turns around, and you get at the end. And even if you don't, who cares?
Hi everyone, Michael from Teams by Design. We've just recently launched our after-hour phone service. What that means for you is we can now answer your phone calls from 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, and all day Saturday and Sunday. We can help you with inquiries such as property inquiry, leasing inquiry, maintenance support, and new business inquiries. So please make sure you head to teamsbydesign.com, leave your information, we'll arrange a Zoom and catch up and show you how we can help you through this.
You know what I like about this, Darren, is he's actually given 2 to 3 tips in one tip here, right? He's talking about online presence. Okay, so the online presence, and he's used the word social media, but we're talking about an online presence. He's talking about pain points of target marketing, using the pain points that owners are feeling the pain, and doing a video on, okay, so how to screen tenants. So if that owner's having problems with tenants, then you do videos around that. But he also mentioned doing it in a video. So there's 3 tips there. It's not just an article. It's not just online presence. It's the whole. He's given so much value there.
So I just want to say, with the Grow 100 Plus challenges we've done with people so far, with the recordings that we've already done, most people are going to social media and talking about that as one of the strategies. Yet you've also said, Joe, there's hardly anyone out there really doing a good job. So it's been one of the strategies that a lot of growth experts like yourself are saying you got to do, but there's not a lot of people actually doing it. And it's such a powerful thing. And so you're thinking, oh no, but you start getting really, really good at Facebook and Instagram and using TikTok and LinkedIn and all of that. Well, guess what? You're going to be not having much competition, even now in this information completely bombarded saturation age. You're just going to stand head and shoulders above your competitors immediately.
And the thing about it is that, don't get me wrong, I struggle to do it as well. And sometimes I say to myself, geez, I'd love to go exactly where you guys are taking me and starting from scratch, because my business would look completely different. And it would be powerful. The things that you could do starting from scratch and putting in place from day one would be amazing. And I know you guys will say, oh, you can still do it. It doesn't matter how many properties you manage. Yes, you can, but you have other constraints and things like that. But it was telling during COVID, where everyone was struggling, nothing was leasing, we were putting on managements, and we were putting on managements purely because I was sending, and okay, it wasn't on social media, but I was sending our clients and our database people a video of me going through what was happening in residential with the tenancy laws. Notice periods were changing daily. Just by sending that out, people were calling me, and even my friends, family, Facebook friends, whoever they were calling me and saying, I've got a property in Queensland. I was referring people to some of our members in Queensland because their agent wasn't looking after them and was telling them something different. And I was saying, no, get a hold of this person because they'll tell you that. So, again, it was just and not asking for anything, just saying, hey, we know everyone's worried about it. This is where it's at. So, and that was quite telling. Like, we were putting on new managements when no one was moving, no one was leasing them. We were just taking them off other agents because they were giving them nothing or saying, oh, no, we can't do that, or you've got to give your tenant a free ride or whatever it may be, which wasn't the case at all. They just didn't know or just weren't communicating with their clients.
So basically what you're saying is you just did it, right? You know, even when you get up, you don't feel like it, but you just picked up the phone and you just did the video. And Joe, I did see your post you put into the IGT Inner Circle post, asking, does anyone have an owner here? I've got an investor that's unhappy with their current client, and we do see a lot of our successful BDMs and agents in that group because they're making the calls, they're being present, they're being online, getting contacted saying, I need help with my agent in another area. So, well done. Online presence.
And that's the beauty of our group as well, is that, even before I refer someone, I will be doing some homework on that person because I want them to be congruent with what we're doing. I don't want that person to have a different experience. So, and that's the beauty of our group. There's a lot of people in our group, especially in the IGT sort of select, are amazing agents in their own rights. And you were saying about the conferences and that, it's when you get to meet these people, and again, we're meeting in person and having a conversation. It's just so powerful, and we've been able to, refer people. I mean, I had lunch last week with a lady that I met at 2019. She's out at sort of Penrith or St Clair somewhere, and we had lunch last week because,
awesome.
We communicated over the last year, and I've referred people to her. She's referred people to me, and it's just little things like that make a massive difference, especially when, we're an independent agent. We don't sort of, we're not in a franchise group. This has been sort of, this group has been a godsend for us because we've been able to comfortably refer people. So, but again, it's just knowing that they're going to be doing the right thing as well. That's really important. So.
Great to hear. And you're right that there's some amazing agents that we've got in the Inner Circle, Joe, and you were one of the inaugural original too. So back in the day when BDM Coach set the group up, so you were one of the first.
Mate, again, you align yourself with people, and don't get me wrong, I'm not going to blow your guys' trumpets and whatnot, but there's a lot of trainers out there, and I get emails and phone calls. I mean,
Joe, are you saying you don't get emails from us?
I
can see Joe's hating me lately. He's like, where are these emails coming from?
Very persistent, and again, I will look at things and see what they've got to offer. And there's a reason that I align myself with you guys is because I know, what you guys are about. And I know that my staff can get value from that as well. So
thank you. Well, that's what we do it for. And we are very focused on value. We're very focused on real meaty content. We're always content, teachers and trainers. We are teachers. And, I feel very fortunate to be with Dennis and Michael. They're both geniuses in their own right. And And we just, my job is to keep on delivering, pulling out of the juice out of these guys and delivering it and making sure people like you get fed and you got real solutions. I think while we're at it, I wouldn't mind just having a quick interruption before we go into strategy number 3. Is Dennis is, as I said, a genius in his own right when it comes to rent roll growth. Dennis, over 4 years, he signed up, 900 doors. And I think also with the coaching clients that you had as a trainer, at one stage, your coaching clients combined in 1 month were doing up to 300 new properties a month, as in that's all your coaching clients in one.
That was over the like a 12-month period. Easily, they were listing over. Yes, correct.
Yeah. It was about 300 properties a month, though, wasn't it?
Yeah,
at one
combined
stage,
with all the agencies.
Combined, putting all your clients into one pot. And what you were teaching them is how to grow, how to get all of those leads. Because without leads, you haven't got managements, right? So you've got to get the leads. So to get hundreds and hundreds of managements and properties or doors, whatever you want to call them, you've got to get thousands of leads. What we've put out, everybody, is this training onto this USB. And the reason we put it onto USB is because we also give you the PowerPoint that Dennis uses for the training. There's so much video content on there, so you can go and pick and choose what you want to have a look at. That's why it's a huge file. That's why we've had to put it on a USB. So we want to give you this training for free. Now, this actual training here, the 2 hours of 30 PM secrets or 30 ways to grow your rent roll. So it's 30 ways of pure lead generation strategies that Dennis used over his 4 years, what he coached his clients with. This is the stuff here. Now, if you wanted to buy this training from us, it's worth about $1,000 before we gave it as part of this offer. And if you implement it, Dennis, unfortunately, there's a lot of people that do training and they do nothing. But if you implement this, it will turn, something that's valued at $1,000 into hundreds of thousands of dollars. But we're giving this away for free. If you're willing to simply pay our postage to get it out to your $15, you can have the USB with 2 hours of training. It's got the PowerPoint on there as well. Just go to PM Growth Experts. It's pmgrowthexperts.com, pmgrowthexperts.com. And you'll see the USB there with 30 PM secrets on it. Order that and we'll get it out to you as well. So anyway, drum roll, Joe, strategy number 3.
This one here will cost you some money, but it's about branding. So you need to, brand your business and yourself. So if I was starting fresh, and I have a good head for radio, but again, letterbox drops. I'd pick your core area, and you can do 10,000, through, fairly cheaply. Have them delivered. But again, I would be putting your face on everything. So, so people can recognize you. So again, and you start to get seen. They see you on social media. They see your letterbox drop. And I know people say, letterbox drop, people just throw them out. That's all right. I do them 2 or 3 times, or 3 or quarterly. I'd be getting them out 10,000 every 4 months, every 3 months, for a year, 12 months. I'd be putting stuff in people's letterbox with your face on it. And again, just giving information. Don't say I've just listed, I've just sold, whatever it may be, just information. With that, every property I would list, I'd make sure I'd have a signboard on it. Again, put your face on it if you need to. Pointer boards, people put up pointer boards, sales agents, they annoy me because I see them everywhere, these pointer boards, and I don't really think people need help on finding properties when they're going to inspections, but it's about branding. So if I had a property for lease, in this town, and it was my only property, I would have a signboard, and I would have 10, pointer boards at every intersection possible. So what happens is that people, drive in, you've targeted them on Facebook, they start seeing your pointer boards. Oh, that's that guy that was on Facebook, again, and your head on it. Just get your face out there, get you out there. And I think, that's the long game. It's not going to happen overnight, but I can tell you, if you do that for 12 months consistently, the leads will come. We used to do something similar, in our Saturday, like we have a Saturday, it's called Manly Daily. It's no longer around, but we have the sales properties used to have the gloss features in the middle,
Yeah.
and I would run bookends once a month, so 12 times a year. It would cost me a fortune, and all I would have would be our stats and a little pain point, a little story about bulletproofing tenants or how to screen tenants or whatever it may be, and that ran for sort of 12 months. First few months, and this was primarily, it was just a sales advertising gloss, and I would just have rental. No one else did it. We did it. And it took a while to get traction. But I can tell you, every time that ad appeared on a Saturday, Monday, I would be getting calls from owners, and it didn't always relate to an appraisal, or it might have related to a question. One of Dennis's things that he bangs on about, investor service. Like I was only looking at them the other day, the bookends that I have for the investor service, straight taken out of Dennis's material, and it used to appear there. So again, people that are looking to buy a property were looking at the only rental ad that was on that, and they were saying, oh, these guys here, let's ring them. And I used to get good leads, and they're still on my database today, But again, that was very powerful. But I see it happen all the time. A property management will put an ad in. I know they're not going to get any calls on that first weekend, and then they drop off. They don't do it again. Consistently, if you continue to do it, it'll pay off. And that, again, is the tip. You've got to be consistent. And don't expect that that phone's going to ring after you do 10,000 letterbox drops. But you know what? You do 10,000 in 3 months' time, and you might get one call. You do 10,000 in 6 months' time, you might get 2 or 3 calls. Again, it's just putting your face out there. But again, don't backslap yourself. It's about giving information and not expecting anything back.
Yeah, Joe, and on the letterbox drops, right? You're right. It's that consistency. They're going to see a branded vehicle. They're going to see the Felice sign out the front of the house. And you're right. It's not about so the tenant can see where it is. It's about your next potential landlord. They're going to see the little corner signs everywhere. And then, you just leased and have a nice leased in 5 days or something. And then you've got your social media or out the front door and a selfie, whatever. So all this branding in that particular street is high. Now, I want to talk about your investor support service you brought up in your ads, because I remember when I came and had breakfast or lunch with you guys once, and you opened up the newspaper and said, Dennis, look, this came in on the weekend, and it was the investor support thing. And I was like, newspaper. And you went, Dennis, our area, my core area, they grab the paper, they sit down on a Saturday, Sunday morning, and they're at the cafe, they're looking at the beach, and they're reading the paper. So it suits your core market area down to a T. And you said once a month, Dennis, Saturdays, we're taking a section in, and it's obviously it's worked.
Yeah, and it's not something you can do now because not something you can do in this scenario because you're starting and you've got a budget. Because don't get me wrong, that was expensive. People pay $5-10 grand a page to advertise a property for sale in that paper. It's no longer around, which is not a reflection on that, but it's just the way things have gone online. But you can do stuff online. You can get a sponsored ad. You can do similar, with your Facebook or Instagram or whatever it may be. But I know I see it all the time. People come on, there's one ad, you never see that ad again, because they were expecting miracles overnight. Ain't going to happen. You've got to be in it for the long haul. But that one, costs you a little bit of money. But even the letterbox drops, and I'd be once you got a lease one, well then I'd be sort of doing your lease, and I'd be door knocking that area again. You only have to door knock 5 or 6 properties around. The one that you've leased. I could keep going. Absentee owners.
You're talking about door knocking. Hold on, you're talking about door knocking. Property managers or BDM door knocking?
Why not? Just knock on the door. Like you might get a tenant. Oh, hey, you rent here? Cool. Who's your agent? Are you happy with them? No, not really. Okay, cool. Again, absentee owners. You lease something in a building, and you go, RP data and whatnot, but you can get in touch. I know it's difficult, but you know what? If you send out an absentee owner saying, hey, we just leased the property in your building. Just want to let you know, that's it. If they're not hearing from their agent, then you're the one that comes to mind the next time that, you know, the property becomes vacant or they're unhappy or whatever it may be. So, you know, there's so much you could do that doesn't have to cost you money. But that's another one. Yeah. Once you've leased it, absentee owners in the area, again,
well done. If you're not educating your current landlords, somebody else is.
100%.
And if you're a rival to Joe, then Joe's going to be doing the letterbox drops. Joe's going to have an online presence. He's going to have police boards. He's going to have boards everywhere. He's going to have a newspaper ad when he can do it. You know, he's going to be calling your plumbers, your accountants that are dealing with your rivals. So, you know, some amazing tips there, Joe. And you're an award-winning BDM yourself. You've spoken at our events as well. You're the first person to be on 3 podcasts.
Well
So,
done.
you know, you've got a lot to give.
I need to
Well-
I need to correct something too, Joe. You talk right back at the start of strategy number 3 that you have a face for radio, but as I said, you look like Dwayne Johnson, and you put that into the flyers. you
Okay.
look like The Rock. I mean, seriously,
Wasn't it
you look at
Tom
Dwayne
Cruise?
Johnson, look at you. It's like
Dennis,
there's no
you know
difference.
Tom Cruise?
Yeah, I know Tom Cruise, and I've got to say, you know, we're talking about quality. We're talking about, you know, Tom Cruise is the type of guy that drinks Mount Franklin water, none of this other rubbish stuff, right? When he come to Australia and there we go. See, when he came to Australia and he did Mission Impossible 2, I apologize for bringing up the bad movie. It was his worst one he's done. He was drinking Mount Franklin water, right? But, you know, it's all about quality, Joe. You know, you guys have got a very a high quality agency. You guys do everything down to the T. You're always looking at implementing the latest things, part of the latest trainings, and you know, some amazing tips and feedback. And we could talk for hours, right? You gave more than 3 tips.
And I'd like to say that I can do it all, but you know, again, once you start to go work at scale, it is a lot harder. It shouldn't be, and I know you guys would say it shouldn't be, but it does become, because you have other pressures, you know, managing the portfolio, managing the staff.
Yep.
But and I love to, you know what, if I continue to do this religiously, you know, the results will be there, and at times you just forget what you should be doing. But again, in this scenario where you're starting from fresh, you're not managing 100 properties yet, you know, like you're managing nothing. So, you know, this stuff here is the easiest stuff to do. And that's when you're going to, you know, do it best. Probably the people that are going to continue to be good at what they do will continue to do it regardless whether they're busy or not. And also provide quality service. Anyone that comes in contact with your office, whether it be a landlord or a tenant, if they get exceptional service, regardless of whether you're busy or not, they will remember that. And, you know, I always say to my team, you know, it's not that we're that, I like to say we are good, but we don't have to be that good to be better than everybody else.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like, it's not that hard as a property management company to really stand out. If you're coming from a good place, you're looking to help people, you're respectful, and you provide good service. So, you know, even that alone will get people walking through your doors.
Yeah. Well done. I mean, Joe, you've given 3-4 tips per tip that you were given. You know, it does speak volumes about you, and you still want to keep adding extra value.
This is quite easy. You know, it's funny when you have to think about these things. You sort of worry, oh, what am I going to say? But once we start talking, again, this stuff just comes naturally because it's what we're supposed to be doing. I think.
Yep. That's how Dennis talks for 6 hours, you know, with only a few bullet point notes, you know. So anyway, but let's wrap this up, guys. But
we are planning on doing a 2-day event with no slides, and I can't wait.
Loves it.
All right, well done. Thank you so much, Joe. Great stuff there. If people want to get in touch, what's the best way to what's your email?
Joe, Joe, at doylespillane.com.au.
Cool. No, it's good. All right. And thank you so much for your time. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, let's put into practice. I mean, the only thing I can say, put into practice what you learn and go for it.
regardless of whether you got 0 or 1,000, you should be still doing that same stuff.
Absolutely. Well done. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, everyone, for
Thanks,
listening.
guys.
All right, everyone. Thank you. Take care.
Bye.